Is Quiet good or evil? Does what she does in MGS5 ultimately a net positive, or make the world a worser place? Can we even reduce Quiet down to good or bad? Does she even do enough in MGS5 for us to analyze? We've done this thought experiment a few times now with Venom, Eva, and Sunny, but Quiet was definitely the hardest person for me to try and definitively say whether she's good or evil. Quiet starts off as an adversary and tries to kill Venom multiple times throughout MGS5, but just because she's an adversary doesn't necessarily mean she's evil. Today we're talking all about Quiet and taking a deep dive into everything she does in MGS5. Welcome back! If you're new here, my name is Luffy and welcome to my channel. I talk video games and character analysis. Heads up, this video will have spoilers for Metal Gear Solid 5. Quiet's goals. First things first, let's talk about Quiet's goals. In the beginning, Quiet was an assassin with XOF who was tasked with killing Big Boss. To accomplish this, she traveled to the Cypress hospital where he was recovering. To get to Big Boss, Quiet kills the nurse and attending doctor, and already we have a point going in the bad guy column. I get that they were in the way, but are you telling me Quiet couldn't have gone to assassinate Big Boss when there weren't any nurses or doctors around? Why didn't she go in the middle of the night? Killing innocent people is pretty obviously a bad guy thing to do. Moving on, she botches her assassination. Quiet tries to shoot Big Boss, but takes 500 years to aim and is interrupted when she's attacked by the patient in the next bed over. After a short tussle with the patient where she doesn't kill him, she tries to strangle Big Boss to death, but fails when she's once again attacked by the patient she failed to incapacitate. Quiet ends up on fire, though shockingly, the fire doesn't stop her from trying to carry out her mission. If it was me, the second I'm on fire, it's game over. I don't know what XOF was paying her, but I can't fathom an amount that would keep my head in the game once I've been lit on fire. Anyways, Quiet gets a double dosing of the fire and it's too much for her, so she falls out of a nearby window in agony. Does trying to assassinate Big Boss make her a good or a bad guy though? Whether you love or hate Big Boss, I don't see her trying to assassinate him as a net good or a net evil. To me, it's neutral, especially at this point in the timeline. If this was Metal Gear 1 or 2 Big Boss, then it would have been a good thing to get rid of him, but he hasn't quite hit his peak bad guyness yet. Quiet's injuries were life-threatening, obviously. I don't know who could have survived something like that other than Liquid.
But I live on through this arm!
Though she was treated by being infected with a strain of the one that covers parasites. These parasites repaired all the physical damage caused by being lit on fire and falling out of a window, and also granted her heightened abilities such as superhuman speed, perception, durability, longevity, phasing, and invisibility. These parasites also made it so Quiet breathes through her skin and photosynthesized to get her nutrients. You'd think this experience would have scarred Quiet for life, but her tenacity knows no limit and she's once again deployed to kill Big Boss. The second time she attempts to kill Big Boss, the two engage in a sniper battle. Venom, Big Boss, takes the victory though. He doesn't finish her off however, and instead brings her back to Mother Base to join Diamond Dogs. Here's where the setup is for her to try and kill Venom for a third time. Quiet is infected with a deadly strain of vocal cord parasites. They're activated when Quiet speaks English, and are set to wipe out anyone who speaks English, aka most of the people on Mother Base, including Venom. Quiet doesn't start speaking as soon as she's on the base however, and bides her time getting to know everyone first. Why didn't Quiet start speaking as soon as she was on Mother Base? What made her hesitate? Did she not want to cause any casualties as the other soldiers on Mother Base would also contract the deadly vocal cord parasites? Was she worried about the greater world at large should the English strain vocal cord parasites spread from Mother Base to the rest of the world? Or did she really just like Venom's booty so much that she wasn't ready to see him erased? I so wish we would have gotten more from Quiet and her thought process. I know it's revealed that Quiet couldn't bring herself to assassinate Venom because she'd fallen for him, but had she really fallen for him that quickly? In the end, Quiet never weaponizes the English strain of the vocal cord parasites, and in fact when she's forced to speak English and activate the strain, she decides to quietly leave Diamond Dogs and Venom so as not to infect anyone. Outside of the Diamond Dogs, Quiet has nowhere to go as Skullface and XOF are taken down by Venom, so she really is sacrificing to keep everyone safe. Regardless of her reasoning for it, this is definitely a good guy move. Initially, Quiet's goals are one of revenge. She wants revenge for the pain and suffering she endured during her first botched assassination attempt against Big Boss, which is kind of rich. You'd think she'd blame Skullface for that, not the target she'd been sent to assassinate. After spending some time with Venom though, she herself says that she turns away from revenge and instead to gratitude. I don't particularly think Quiet has anything to be grateful for from the Diamond Dogs, as she's treated with suspicion and harassed and even tortured by the staff. The only ones who seem to be actively nice to her is Venom. But nonetheless, I see her saying she turned to gratitude as symbolic of turning away from being an enemy to one of the good guys. Before we go drawing any conclusions though, let's take a look at the little things Quiet does throughout MGS5. Quiet's actions. When Quiet first came to live on Mother Base, people tried to fully clothe her, though her reaction was to beat them so badly that they needed breathing tubes, which makes me laugh every time. I want to know who was so tenacious that they continued to try and clothe Quiet despite her violently fighting them to the point that they needed breathing tubes. That just seems so comical. Or did someone offer Quiet some pants and she went off on them and didn't stop until they needed breathing tubes? Either way, it's messed up and Quiet gets a point in the bad guy column. I get that being fully clothed would suffocate her, but it's really not that serious that you need to put someone on breathing tubes. You probably could have gotten your point across if you just broke their arm or something. Later, Quiet tries to cut the tongue of a diamond dog out. Yes, this soldier had been infected with the Kakongo strain of the vocal cord parasites, and she was trying to protect everyone from an outbreak, but all of her well-meaningness is tossed aside when it's revealed she can speak Navajo with Code Talker. Why not explain everything to Code Talker and let him handle things? Why jump straight to violence? Honestly, I love Quiet so much I can't be mad at her for this, but objectively this was the wrong move to make when she could have just explained things to Code Talker, so you get a point in the bad column, Quiet. Next, we have something good. Shabani's necklace, a keepsake for his surviving friends, is tossed into a vat of chlorine disinfectant. There's no way to retrieve it, as anyone who went into the vat would surely perish. Quiet, with her special powers, could retrieve it though, and she tosses her own safety aside as she jumps into the vat to retrieve the necklace. She's successful, though the incident does result in severe burns to her skin. This is such a good thing to do. Quiet definitely gets a point in the good guy column for this one. Next, we need to address the fact that Quiet talks to Code Talker. So much could have been prevented had she done this more than once. Not only could she have prevented the outbreak of the vocal cord parasites on Mother Base, but she also could have told Code Talker her reasons for leaving when she eventually did. Because she doesn't tell anyone why she left, Venom goes after her, fearing she'd been captured by some enemy forces or that something bad had happened to her. It was true that she'd been captured, and it was good that Venom went after her, but in doing so, he also ran straight into an ambush. I can't help but think how this would have gone down had she just communicated her situation to Code Talker. Pequod helps Venom take down Sahelanthropus. If he'd been better prepared, I could see Pequod helping Venom in the ambush as well. After the ambush, Venom is bit by a venomous snake, the irony, and almost succumbs to its venom. Though Quiet breaks her vow of silence and speaks English to Pequod to direct him to Venom's location so he can get some life-saving antivenom. At the end of the day though, does her failure to communicate with Code Talker and prevent everything that happens after she leaves the Diamond Dogs something we can call good or evil? I think it's more of an oversight on her part than anything else. Hindsight is 20/20, and maybe knowing what she knows now, she would have done things differently, though we'll never know if that's true. Quiet did what she thought she had to keep Venom and the Diamond Dog safe. After the vocal cord parasites are activated by her speaking English, she stays true to her plan and disappears so as not to put anyone in danger. Her heart is in the right place here, so she earned a point in the good guy column. All things considered, things are pretty equal for Quiet, and I think that's really fitting for her. She has both good and bad in her story, and is a character that grows through the challenges facing her. At the beginning of this video, we asked if Quiet put positive into the world or made the world a worser place. She did what she could to protect the world from the vocal cord parasites, so she definitely didn't make it a worser place. Other than protecting the world from the vocal cord parasites, Quiet's good deeds tended to focus on the individual, like when she retrieved Shabani's necklace for his friends. What do you think though? Was Quiet good or evil? Thank you so much for making it to the end of my video. If you liked it, please like, subscribe, and turn notifications on. It really helps me out. Check out my Patreon if you need more MGS content, or join us in Discord. We're always talking about MGS. More importantly than that though, please take care of yourself, and I'll catch y'all in the next one. Thank you.